Well, the Blue Jays couldn't take down the division-leading Orioles in the opening game of their four-game series.
The 0-2. Out to left center field. Hayes racing after it. Does! Oh, what a play by Austin Hayes!
Well, a highlight reel catch from Austin Hayes in the bottom of the ninth inning with two runners on base put a halt to the Jays' rally in the 4-2 loss. Some concerns for the Jays going forward, with Bo Bichette forced to leave in the third inning with knee discomfort after rounding first base. The Blue Jays will look to bounce back tonight, with Hyunjin Ryu expected to make his first start since undergoing Tommy John surgery last season. And today is the MLB trade deadline. Teams have until 6 p.m. to make moves as they push for the playoffs over the final 2 months of the season. Well, there have been already a number of deals in recent days leading up to the deadline. And joining us now with more on who could be on the move and what the Jays might do is Chris Henderson with the Jays Journal. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we talk about, I guess, the deadline and who might be on the way out, who might be on the way in, let's talk about how Bo Bichette's injury that might reprioritize what the team might do. What's your take on what happened last night and how this might impact today's activity?
Yeah, you know what? It was, if you could think of the worst thing that could happen to the Blue Jays right before the trade deadline, this might have been it.
Yeah.
We have to cross our fingers that Bichette's injury is going to be minor, but it very much could affect what Ross Atkins in the front office do. You know, there's been rumors connecting them to a player like Tim Anderson, who's a middle infielder from the White Sox, and I wouldn't be surprised if those rumors ramp up quite a bit today.
I've been looking at those rumors. Also, some rumors about maybe bringing back an old face to the team.
Yeah, you know what? It's possible that Teoscar Hernandez is going to be available from the Seattle Mariners. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the season, and it doesn't look like the Mariners are going to make the playoffs. So he's a possibility. I certainly would fit as that right-handed bat that we've heard so much about that the Blue Jays need, especially as we look towards the end of the stretch run towards the playoffs and into the playoffs. And he's a familiar face that we certainly know that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. So that wouldn't be a bad option. It would be a lot of fun, too.
What do you think the Jays need to do in terms of making a good push for the playoffs? I mean, we're in a tough division in the AL East. You got a lot of great teams, Orioles, the Rays, the Red Sox, but Jays right now sitting in third. What do you think they need to add to their roster to really make a push?
You know what? We kind of talked about the two biggest things in my mind. They already addressed the bullpen by acquiring Jordan Hicks from the Cardinals earlier this week, and he's going to help cover for Jordan Romano's injury and just make the bullpen better. I think that was a huge move. But for now, I think the Blue Jays really got to look at bringing in that right-handed bat that can help them hit against left-handed pitching. And it might be a case where they're looking at a guy like Teoscar Hernandez, or it might be a case like a Tim Anderson or a Paul DeJong from the St. Louis Cardinals, who can play shortstop as well if Bo's going to be out for a few weeks or hopefully no longer than that. But I think if the Blue Jays are going to be serious about trying to still compete for the playoff spot, they're going to have to answer some questions that they might not fully have the answers to before the end of the day. That's a bit of the problem with the deadline.
Who do you think might be on the way out?
You know what? That's a great question, and it's really hard to say with the way that the roster is set up. There is a roster pinch right now. It's entirely possible we could see a bullpen arm traded because they have so many talented arms. I think more likely it's just going to be some guys that are still in the minor league system that the Blue Jays are going to look to supplement their big league roster with a trade like that.
We'll see what happens. We still got plenty of hours to go. Chris Henderson, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.